Okay, let's get started. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I can hear you.
You can hear me? Throw it up in the. I'm going to do. We have several people that are signed up for this, so we may have a few people join us here in a minute. But let's see here. So I'll kind of let them in as we go here. But thanks for coming, Luke. You're the only one here right now that's. Trevor's with me. Trevor's on my team. He's part of my loss control team, and so he's here. Hopefully, we'll have a few more people show up. But if not, Luke, you get a private showing here.
Awesome.
How's that sound? That doesn't happen very often. There's typically 30 or 40 people that will come to these things. So,
Well, I think we
anyways.
tried to join a couple weeks ago, and it was a failure. It sounded like.
Is that the one where the audio didn't work?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was just plain embarrassing. I'm not going to lie to you. But oh well, here's what it is, right?
Yeah.
So, well, okay. So, can you see my screen here? The
Yes, sir.
accidents happen. I guess you saw this last time.
It never
but you
even
didn't get
popped
the
up.
audio.
No.
Okay. All right. Look, now we've got Dave that's going to join us here. Dave, can you hear us?
He's muted.
He's muted. Okay. Well, we'll get there. So I was just telling Luke that I've got Trevor on here. He's part of my loss control team, and if you have questions, throw them up in the chat, and Trevor will try and answer whatever he can in that section as we go through this. I'll try and be quick. I don't want to take a lot of your time. So let's get started. So last year, let's see here. This is me. You'll notice how I navigated through everything there. Over my kid's sled, around the bikes, around the buckets, and of course I tripped on my own step. I've walked over that step, I don't know, 5,000 times, and sure enough fell right there. So accidents happen. That's, I think, what we all can agree on. So my name's Telly. I'm a work comp specialist. This is what I do. I believe that workers' compensation is kind of it's not given the attention it deserves in the market. So that's kind of where I've put all my focus. So let me go through this real quick. So we find that as I go through workers' compensation and I meet with people all over the place, I find that most people are overpaying for their workers' compensation simply because they just don't understand how it works. There's so much to it. So I find that they're overpaying. So that's what we're going to do today. Here's my objective. I'm going to show you how to read the NCCI worksheet. I'll show you how to calculate your minimum mod score to show you what kind of improvement you can make, what improvements available between your mod score and that minimum mod score. And then I'll show you some programs to move forward with. This is your NCCI worksheet. Has anybody ever seen this? Yes, no, throw it up in the chat. Anyways, this is an NCCI worksheet. And so this is how your mod score or your premiums are factored, right? Everything comes down to this number. All these numbers on this whole thing come down to this number right over here. And you've probably all heard about your X mod score. This is a plumber that we've worked with in the past. And his X mod score when we started was a 1.18. Anybody want to take a venture on if we gave that a letter grade, a B, C, D, or F?
F.
Anybody want to take a venture on what would grade him?
Not good.
What do you think? Not good. Yeah, right. We can give him what, a D? We go with a D. D's probably what I would think. So let's break this down now. Let's look at our mod paper here, our mod sheet. The NCCI worksheet, it's read vertically, not horizontally like most papers. So on the left here, you'll see this is what's expected, okay? So you've got a couple codes here. We'll go through this. This is your codes. Like I said, this is the plumber that we've worked with in the past. And so this 5.183 is the code for an outside plumber. You'll notice that had 1,687,000 ish in payroll to outside plumbers. And then down here, I'm guessing, I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure this is an outside salesperson. That's their code. And then this is a clerical worker. So somebody who works inside the office, someone that's not out in the field. And you'll notice, so what happens here is you've got, this is per $100 of payroll, you're charged this amount here. So he's charged $2.11 per $100 of payroll for this code. You'll notice that the 8810, obviously clerical guys, you'll see my hands are very soft, and I'm sitting in a desk most of the time, so I'm in this 8810 code, but they're only charged 11 cents per $100 here, okay? So it goes over here. So based off of those numbers, this is what your expected losses are going to be. Okay, if you pay out 1,600,000-ish in payroll, they're expecting, based on industry standards, you're going to have about $35,000 in loss. Okay, so if you hit this exact expected standard or expected loss, then you'll get a 1.00 on your. It means that you're an average person, you're an average company, you're average safety, right? So our goal, obviously, is to get to be an A, right? My kids, of course, I wasn't great in school, but my kids, when they come home with D's and C's, I'm like, hey, that doesn't work. So I kind of feel the same way, and I feel like a lot of people misunderstand that. I hear all the time, hey, I've got a 1 mod score, I'm fine. I'm like, no, you're actually a C minus. So let's go through that. I'll show you a couple things that we can do. First thing we'll do, I'll show you how to factor your minimum mod score. So let's see, to get to that A, or 100%, or be in the perfect company, what is that number for a plumber? So what we're going to do is we're going to take this stabilizing value, okay, and then we're going to divide it by K, and that's going to give us a 0.64. So what that means, if this plumber had 0 accidents, 0 problems on his worksheet here, he would be a 0.64 mod score. So what we're going to do then is we're going to take that mod score, we're going to take what he is, that 1.18, and then we're going to subtract it from a minimum mod score. So that tells us that we have 54 mod points to work with, okay? Now I'm not telling you you're never going to have an accident, you're going to hit the 100%, perfect A, but that tells us how much is there. So let's quantify that number now, just to kind of give you an idea of what that is. So when you factor in costs, what you do is you're going to go down here to this subject premium, okay? And your cost, every mod point is 1% of that subject premium. That subject premium down there is also called a pure premium. So in other words, if you were a 1.00 mod score, that's how much they would be paying in premium. Okay, and then of course, if you're below or above that, you get credited or debited based off of that performance. Okay, so when we quantify this number now, we take the 54 mod points, we times it by the $1,247, 1% of the subject premium, and that tells us that he has $67,338 every year that he could adjust that or save as he moves forward with this. So pretty significant amount of money. In my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's money worth saving. So I'll give you a couple different strategies or a couple different things that we can do that immediately to offset that number. So this is what I love about workers' compensation. It's different from other premiums. You can control your premium as opposed to like your general liability, your property. You kind of get what they give you, right? You're just getting your best deal, and that's it. This one you can control, and I'll show you how that's done. So this is the same mod paper, okay? And over here you'll see, and this is the 2018-2019 period, but we have in here that he had a $10,000 loss, okay? Now what I've immediately noticed, obviously, is this right here, but this O and F. Is it open? Is it still open, or is it finalized? The F obviously is finalized, O is opened. So as these guys head into renewal now, we look at this, and on the NCCI worksheet, it's showing that it is an open claim, okay? Well, when we did a little bit more work and dug into this a little bit deeper, we found out that it had actually, in fact, been closed. It was a closed claim. So what we wanted to do is, before renewal happens, now we were a little late because we were late to the game on this one, but before their renewal hits, we want to make sure that the NCCI is aware of this being closed. Okay, so when we went and we did that, it showed, well, the actual cost of this loss was $2,500. Okay, so as their mod score, or their mod score is being calculated, obviously $2,500 is a significant savings from $10,000. Okay, so number one thing you want to do is you want to be on your NCCI worksheet probably 4 months before renewal, and just to simply look and see if you have open claims that have been closed. I've seen open claims that have been years, they've been open for years, when in fact they've been claimed. It just is a clerical type thing where it's not being transferred over to the NCCI or being reported correctly. So the second thing that we do to control our mod scores is, oops, sorry, a little quick there, but in this IJ code right here, if you look on this is 05, 06, and 09. Each one of those is a different type of claim. So your 05 claim means that you paid out indemnity. Indemnity being you paid out time off or time lost from being injured. Okay, and 06 means that all you did was pay for the injury. In other words, they had stitches and then they got back to work the other day or the next day or whatever it is. And then an 09 is more of a long-term type of injury, a fatality, something that's long-lasting. Not a whole lot you can do about those, and you just pray that never happens. But these 05s, it's crucial that we try and make as many of those 05s 06s, okay? And how you do that is you get them back to work. Now, how we do that is what you want to do is have a return to work program. I'm sure you've all heard of the return to work program, but what that is you got to have it set up before, the actual injury or whatever. So what we do, and I'll show you this next slide, we have a workers' compensation claims procedure packet that we use, okay? What's entailed in this is when people are hired on as an employee, you introduce this return to work program. Now, as you introduce this, you look like a hero, and reason being, if you're injured at work and you take workers' compensation, paid time off, or indemnity, you're only paid 2/3 of your income. So most people are living on their full income, right? So if somebody gets injured, obviously their first fear is, how am I going to make it? I need this money, okay? So as you hire them on, you tell them about this return to work program. And you say, look, if you get injured on the job, I'm going to try and get you back to work as soon as possible. I care about my employees and I want them back to work. I want you to get your full income and I want to get you back working to your regular position as soon as possible. But in the meantime, I'm going to give you what's called a light duty, or something that you can do based off of your injury. Okay, so then they sign on and say, yeah, that sounds great. I want to be a part of that. Now, when an injury happens, we approach them and say, hey, look, I know let's say they broke their arm or whatever it may be, whatever injury, there's several different injuries it could be, but now what they do is they take this next piece of the packet, which is a form that they take to their doctor, and the doctor fills that out. Hey, this person is capable of doing X, Y, or Z. They can lift X, they can do, and it gives a detailed kind of different descriptions that they can or can't do. Now they bring that back to me, or back to you, and based off of the doctor's report, we assign them a light duty. That light duty then, we're giving them now a new employment offer, and we have them sign on, hey, I've agreed to do X, Y, and Z as light duty. Now, it's got to be a meaningful job. You can't just have them, I don't know what I've heard of having somebody separate bolts and nuts into different things. It wasn't meaningful. It's got to be something that's meaningful towards your company. But then we have them sign on to that, and now they start their light duty. You continue to pay them. The advantage to that, again, oops, I went the wrong way. Let's see here, sorry. Here we go. The advantage to that is if we can get this to be an 06 rather than an 05, let's just say that, let's take this injury and let's say that it actually did cost $10,000 and at the end of the day that it was a $10,000 loss. Well, if I got them back to work and this is an 06 rather than 05, you immediately get a 70% discount off of that when it comes to factoring your mod score. 70%, that's massive, right? So now, instead of having that be a $10,000 loss, you got them back to work and now it's a $2,500 loss. Accomplishes kind of the same thing there, right? So we're back to saving money and keeping these as low as possible. And that return to work program is significant. And we can go through some more details if anybody has questions on that moving forward. Let's see here. So that's part of, those are the two main items I would say that you'd want to chase after immediately when you're looking at your NCCI worksheet and before renewal. Now I'm going to show you a couple different programs, like I said, that we actually use, and Trevor's involved in, well, most of this stuff. This is kind of his deal. But I'll show you a couple of programs that we do and different things. We treat workers' compensation as its actual policy, right? This is a controllable policy. It's a major expense for a lot of companies, and so we take it to the next level. And with some people we do the full programs. Some of them we do one or two of the programs. We kind of cater to whatever each company needs. But let me just show you a few programs that we have that are amazing. So we have a loss control team, and that is Trevor. Trevor is part of this loss control team. What they'll do, and we'll go through several different things, but part of what they do is they can help with employee handbooks. They can help with safety protocol. They can come in, they'll do an assessment, come out and do an assessment of your facility and say, hey, if this looks like a hazard, and give you kind of tips on which way to go. We've got different, all the legal posters that you need, all the different things. We've got an RMC, Risk Management Center, computer program that these guys use and will work in conjunction with you to make sure that everything's compliant, everything's up to date. All your people have their, even their employee or their job descriptions, all this stuff. And so that's part of that loss control team. The next thing we do, or next thing we have, and I'll get back to a little bit more of that in a second, but the claim management team. We have a claim management team. Whenever we have a major claim, now of course if it's a $500, $200, $2,000 claim, we're not going to be as involved in this. But we have several, and it happens all the time. But we have major claims that go out there. Well, we have a claim management team that now manages that and watches it from accident all the way to the end of it closing. Their job is to kind of keep the carrier in check, make sure that you're being watched out for, that you're not getting just this. I find in this company or in this insurance world that it seems like we're always just waiting for our sentencing, right? We don't have representation. We don't have any advocates out there actually working for us when an accident happens. And so that's what these guys do. They're out there and they're your advocate watching this, and they manage the claim from accident to hitting your NCCI worksheet or closing. The next thing we do, we have a guy that we've hired, and he's part of Trevor's team. We hired him. He's an ex-OSHA inspector, so the guy knows what he's talking about. And so what he brings to the table, if you've got OSHA inspections, if you've got different things that you're dealing with, he can help you navigate those reviews. He can give you a consultation. A lot of times we'll have an accident and you're not even sure, God, do I need to report this to OSHA or is this something small enough? Anyways, there's a fine line there, and he he can help us. He helps us to determine is it a recordable accident. As a service to companies, he'll also come out and do a mock OSHA inspection on your facility. Come out and say, hey, look, this is, if OSHA were to show up today, this is what they would find you for. This is what I see. And then you can take that information and move from there. This is invaluable. We've actually had him negotiate with OSHA inspectors, and because he understands the process, he understands, hey, look, I know that this is the case, but can we hit him with this lighter penalty? He's amazing at this. And so that's another part of our program. Let's see here. I'm moving pretty quick. Does anybody have any questions? Dave, Luke, either of you have any questions? No? Okay, I'll keep going. Moving forward. So the other thing that we bring to the table is we have an HR hotline. So when you have questions, let's say that, I mean, there's a million different HR questions you can have. My employee said X to this customer, and now what do I do? We had, this guy's a terrible employee. How do I go about firing him? So we have this HR hotline that you can call anytime, and they will guide you through a process so that you're legally handling each one of these things in an appropriate manner, and that you're going to be watched out for. So in other words, what I'm trying to get to here is we really try to partner with you and be your advocate. We work behind the scenes, but we just want to be a resource to you so that we can keep you safe, keep you compliant, and save you money, keep you in business. Finally, this is our luxury item, I guess, and we have several people that do this, but we have an app-based program that you can do. And what happens is that we have a team that comes in and they help set you up. Now it's app-based, like I said, and so what that entails is you can do part of your company, you can do the entire company, you can do a full layout, kind of whatever you want to do. But what this app base is we go in and let's say that each employee, as they start their job that day, they pull up their app and they say, they have a checklist. Let's say that is my work area clean? Are my tools, and do a quick inspection of my tools, quick inspection of the area around me. Is it clean? Do I have everything? And then they check. Okay, so now you know that they're doing that process. It also has incident tracking, or so let's say that a guy's working and he uses a ladder every single day and he notices a crack in his ladder. Well, from this app-based system, what he does is he goes in and he takes a picture of that app and then sends it to the appropriate person through the app. Hey, my ladder's got a crack in it, or my ladder's missing a step, whatever it may be, and then it reports and goes through the process, and so it streamlines everything. And then also it has instant reporting. So if we have an accident, we're taking a picture of this scenario, we can record it right on that app, and everything comes up there. OSHA loves this thing. So when OSHA shows up for an accident or something happened, basically you hand them the reports that come right out of this app, and it streamlines everything. It's absolutely amazing what this thing's capable of doing. So those are a couple of things that we have. My proposal to you is give us a shot. Let us show you what we can do. If you've got a high mod score right now, let us fix it. Let us help you. What we can do is we can come out, we'll do a free assessment for you. First thing you do, order your NCCI worksheet. If you haven't seen that worksheet, this is how you get it right here, 800-622-4123, select option 4, and then they'll email it to you. It's that simple. And then you can look at that. I'm happy to do a review with you on there. And then if you want to send us your safety manuals, your employee handbooks, your procedures manual, we're happy to go through those and kind of help you with an assessment there. And And then, of course, we're willing to come out and do an assessment of your facility. We'll do a free assessment. One of the things with workers' compensation you never want to do is you never want to do a midterm renewal, because then it disrupts, because then you could have a mod change in the middle of your policy. So you never want to do a midterm change. So let's say that your renewal's in July. Well, that's fine. Let's work on all this stuff. Let's get it all ready to go. We'll work for free until that renewal time, and we'll help you get set up with any of us or all of this, and get you in a position where you can move forward and start getting towards safer thing. Let's see here. Here's kind of all the things that my teams, that's kind of an overrun of what we do and what's included in my process. My clients have access to all these people, all this stuff. And so if we can help you, we absolutely want to. Here's my contact information. Of course, it's on the email there too.